All right. So you ready?
All right, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Survivor.
Yay!
I gotta say that this week, some cool things actually happened. It's not as boring of a show as it was the week before anymore. So very happy to see that.
Better. It was a good week. You know, I liked. Well, okay, let's just start right at the start. Obviously,
Start at the start.
One thing I
Sounds like a
didn't
plan.
like was we don't know how they chose teams. We have no idea. Was it schoolyard pick? Did Jeff pick the teams? We have no idea. He said, "Let's choose teams," and then there's teams.
I didn't even think about that. We talked about that from the week before as well, and I still didn't even pick up on it. Like, even though it was something we discussed.
Right. Well, last week they said it was gonna be schoolyard pick, and they didn't show the pick.
Right.
This
right.
week they just said, "Let's pick teams," and there's teams. I find that stuff interesting. I want to know the dynamic behind how these teams are formed, and if people are choosing, if it's random.
Yeah, because if it's, I know what he used to constantly say when they would go away and be like, "We're going to pick teams," then he'd come back and be like, "After a random selection," and it'd show like the people. Yeah, he doesn't say that anymore. And the last one specifically, schoolyard pick that they didn't show, which that is an important dynamic of the game. So if they did that again,
yeah, it doesn't. It almost feels like that's what they did though, because you got like Wes and Keith together, John and Jacqueline together, and then Missy is not with
Baylor.
Yeah, but you got two couples together there, so it seems like they got to schoolyard pick again.
Yeah, and there's only those three couples, right?
Right. See, in a challenge like this, it almost is not good for television to do a schoolyard pick because you want loved ones against loved ones.
Right.
Fighting, so you don't want them on the same team. So it's kind of weird that they are allowing them to make not the best television. But they were on a beam, and they were going to knock each other off, and then the winner gets luxury fishing. Did you notice that a guy got mud in his eye?
I did. I have it written down right here. Reed gets mud in eye. Now, the next scene though, it was gone. Like while he was like, he was still like, he gets, he's like, "I got mud in my eye, Jeff. I got mud in my eye," and all of a sudden he sits up a little bit, and then it flips. It doesn't flip scenes. He's still on the beam, and all of a sudden he's like, "Eyes all clean," and I was like, "Wait a minute here."
Right, that mud got gone quick.
Yeah.
He had those little rain shower in between.
Yeah, but just there, right there, right, right there.
One thing I noticed though, they were like, first match against Missy and Baylor, and they're both already covered in mud. So, like, did they fall down getting there, or was it another one of those occasions where they did best 2 out of 3 and we didn't get to actually see it?
Well, we did see a lot of the 2 out of 3s. Well, I mean, I can't say 2 out of 3s because I didn't understand how they did this one because we had a rematch of a few of them, but not of everybody.
First 5 is what it was.
Was it
everybody? So we kind of it kept, the first was Wes.
Oh yeah, I guess it always was rematches, wasn't it?
Yeah, like they just rematched. They just kept going through until they got to 5, basically. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, first to 5.
Or they could have just put them in out of order if they weren't. But if each one wasn't 2 out of 3.
That. Yeah, I just thought it was weird that they were really muddy before they'd even started, basically.
Maybe that's part of the prerequisites. They're like, "Survivor's ready, jump in the mud, now get back up in the beam," and just so you know how it feels when you fall down.
You get acclimated to the mud. So after the challenge, winners are decided, and then they just do this like suddenly Natalie and Jeremy are
I so thought Natalie was going to be like, "Jeff, we lost our Flint. We have another one."
Yeah, right.
I was like, "Oh my God, what is she asking for right now?" Like, but then it made sense. And strategy-wise, I think she made a brilliant play right there. So what she did, for those who don't know, is she won. Her team won. She offered up her spot on the reward to Jacqueline to John, so that he could partake in the challenge or the reward, since he had switched over to their alliance in the tribal council before to show gratitude. So then Jeremy follows up and does the same thing and gives up his spot to Jacqueline. So he gives the couple over there and he's like, "Hey guys, you're cool with us." Brilliant play in Survivor.
See, I never hold a lot of weight in that because people pretty much forget instantly what you've done for them. I mean, hell, here they did. So now here we get into Alone Island, Jeremy.
So this is where I get a little bit, I can't say confused, but breaking down the thought process and the strategy, they sent Jeremy for the most part. For what that first I was like, why? But but Baylor was the first person to yell out the name. So did they really agree on Jeremy? I couldn't figure out. But then they were saying that they wanted somebody from their alliance to go so that they could make sure that they had the idol, not knowing that John has it already.
Right.
So they all think that's a good idea, and then of course John starts thinking, he's like, Jeremy's probably going to realize that I already have the idol and maybe be a little pissed off, which he was. He was angry. And I don't get that part. They had just joined their alliance. They switched over and joined their alliance, like the tribal council.
Yeah, he's not going to tell you, like, welcome to my alliance, and here's my idol.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know why you would instantly be like, we must have this super tight alliance that you must tell me everything at this point because you just jumped ship and came over to us. I would not expect that out of anybody. I would want them to if I was in his shoes, but I would be like, yeah, that's why he didn't. I'm not dumb. But he was kind of mad.
Here's my thought on the whole giving up your reward. The people, you never told them ahead of the time, like, if I win, I'm going to let you have this. Or since you jumped to my side, I'm going to let you have. You're just giving them something. And they just feel like, they just felt entitled, too. They were like, oh, yeah, well, of course.
Yeah, that's
we're
true.
The wing of Survivor, so therefore, obviously, we get to go, duh. I don't think they should have done it. And also, what they did is, they put part of their alliance and part of their non-alliance. Like, they could have, like, most of their alliance was all together, and they kind of, like, separated each other. And then they sent one of them off to exile, too. You know what I'm saying? Like, so part of their alliance was on the reward, part of it back at camp. The way it was before, they were kind of separated by alliance already when they picked their teams. So it's kind of weird, too, to, like, send part of your alliance off with the part that's not your alliance off to have an enjoyable dinner and possibly change their mind.
Right. Right.
About how they're going to vote or whatever, which I guess we see towards the end how it all works out.
Do you think Jeremy knew that he was going to get sent to exile?
No,
you think that shocked him?
Yeah, I think it shocked him. Yeah, I do. Because I don't think he would have. I think if you had told that man after you give up this food, you're also going to go sell on a lone island for 3 days. He would not have done that. I don't think he would have.
I don't think he would have either. But at the same, who else was over on the other side that they could have sent instead? Was there anybody?
On the other side was Alex, Baylor, Reed, Jeremy. Oh wait, hold on. On the other side was Wes, Missy, Jacqueline, Keith, and John. So it was Wes, Missy, and Keith. So they could have sent Missy.
Okay, yeah, they could have sent Missy over, which would have probably been a really smart play. A really smart play. Jeremy just gave up his reward. We're not going to send him. We're still going to send somebody from our alliance, which could have caused the exact same problems, though. Like, if John was better, he could have sent somebody else, knowing that he already has the idol. But he didn't let the rest of his alliance at that point know, so that would be giving up some position, which I still don't understand why Jeremy expected him to tell him, like, instantly that he had an idol.
Yeah, no, I think that part's very silly. I think it was silly. I don't know. Again, we don't know because how they cut it, whether or not they discussed it. But I feel like they have to discuss that type of stuff because that's not a tribe. It's not a tribe decision. It's a bunch of individuals making a decision. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like when they decide the Exile Island thing, it has to be a group decision, not like it's not up to Baylor to decide or so on.
They must have decided as a I don't know that decision. Jeremy on a lone island, I'm not sure was a good one. I was kind of upset thinking it was a big dick move because right when he gives up his reward and they send him, then I heard their reasoning for it. But if you had Missy as a viable option to send, that's what you should have done. I mean, there's no question about that.
He got really screwed, man.
Yes, he did. And then we come to I don't remember when this was in the episode, but personal property. What do you think about that part of Survivor?
I thought there was a rule about going through other people's shit, man, especially stealing other people's stuff. So he stole his fucking clothes.
He actually did steal it, which is what threw me off a little bit because I didn't know that would be allowed. Because you can't steal the idol. I mean, it's written on that paper like this is yours, nobody can take this from you. But apparently you can take the paper and be okay. I
would have lost my mind.
Yeah,
so people going through my stuff. It's just
yeah. So Reed randomly just went through Keith's shit just to be like, I think he's got something. Yep, look what I found. So he pulls the thing out. I was really shocked that John was smart enough to burn his paper, he said.
Oh, did he say that?
Yeah,
I missed that.
Jacqueline asked him, like, where's your paper? And he's like, oh no, burn that shit up. He's like, gone. And I was like, huh, he's a little smarter than I thought he was gonna be. But at the same time, I would be afraid. I would probably not have burned it because I'd be afraid that, like, I have to read the rules on it again to know which tribal council can I exactly use this through, because that always throws me off. Like, they change it every season, as well as it always says can be used. Sometimes it says can be used up to the final four, can be used through the final four. Sometimes it's a little more arbitrarily written, where I couldn't tell if I'm allowed to use it at this council or the next one, or if it's done already. Like, I have no idea. I'd be like referring back to it all the time, like studying this thing again.
Out today. Yeah. Speaking of the papers, why the hell was Jeremy's clue so damn vague? The week before, John gets a clue and it's like, hey, walk over there, pick up the idol. And then Jeremy gets a clue and it's like, upon the dusk of a new day. Like, it was like so fucking vague.
You know, I'd have to go back and read that. Usually they get the 2 clues.
Yeah, he didn't though. He got a clue.
He only get
the first clue or something. Like, I thought he was going to get a clue to a new idol or something. It was so damn vague.
Who knows? Maybe he was. Maybe they finally put John Rockers back into place somewhere. Yeah, he knew where it was at though. I mean, where it was supposed to be.
Yeah, he he does figure it out. But yeah, the clue the week before, I think if John had that clue, he wouldn't have found it.
He'd have probably looked at it and been like, "Yeah, I'm not even gonna try. Like, right. I'll go to sleep now."
But John ends up telling Misty that he has the idol after the fact.
Yes, he does after the fact. So Jeremy confronts him about the idol.
Yeah. And
he lies straight to his face and is like, no, man, I'd tell you for sure. Which that is probably getting to be a bad move, because if you were really concerned that Jeremy was gonna be upset with you, you should have just straight up told him. You had the perfect alibi. Like, look, dude, I didn't tell you before. I'm sorry that you went out there because I already had the idol, but I wasn't going to tell you right away. I just joined your alliance to make sure that we're all in this thing together. Right. Perfect. Like, easy. I think Jeremy would have been understanding of that if he had explained it to him. But instead he's like, no. Now that I lied to him, I better go tell somebody else.
Right. I need to go tell Missy to clear my name with... And convince Missy to vote out Jeremy. Why did John suddenly decide that Jeremy needs to go?
He wanted him, like, now or the next time. And it's because I think he realized he was going to, having lied to him, he was going to be off of his... He's flip-flopped so much in this game, and then when he lies to Jeremy, Jeremy's not going to trust him.
Right.
For good reason. Right. I understand where he's coming from, but he could have definitely taken care of that one a way different way and had a much stronger alliance. Like, as opposed to having people who he's now worried that hate him because they're not going to trust him anymore. Yeah. And that opens you up for what Wes says, hashtag blindside. Did you catch him say that?
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be hashtag blindsided. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. It's like LOL. LOL turned into real speech. People started saying LOL, and I was like, the first time I heard somebody say LOL, I was like, what? Huh? And then when I realized what it was, I was like, are you fucking serious? Like, people say that shit, and now it's like everywhere. It's gonna be I'm gonna be walking down the street and be like, so anyways guys, yesterday I was at the hashtag restaurant and eating some hashtag prime rib. And it was happy hashtag Thanksgiving, everybody.
Oh man.
Oh, fucking hashtags. But Immunity Challenge comes along. Immunity Challenge was very interesting.
The feet. I loved it.
Feet only block building. I thought it was pretty damn amazing. Like,
I loved it.
It was
great. I wish they would do more like outside the box stuff like that. I think that's the first time in the many seasons there's been something that was different for once.
I agree. I think
it was a little too easy though. I think they should have had to use their feet 100% of the time.
Because they kept knocking shit over. Like the very first thing, right when they started going, they untied that rope with their feet, and then they all like reached up and grabbed the rope and moved it. And I was like, what the fuck are they doing? Like they can't do this.
Right.
And then Jeff is like, oh, and if you drop a block, you can pick it up with your hands, but then you have to use your feet again. I'm like, well, wait a minute here. I don't know all the rules to this challenge.
Yeah, it's a little too much hand involvement, I think. I think it should have been all feet all day. Because then, like, once you're up to the third level, if you knock that shit over, you have to knock it all down to get your feet in there to get the other shit out.
Yep. I think it would have been great. I think maybe they'll do that for like the final 2 or final 3 challenge. It'll be like, we'll do this challenge again. However, this time all feet
hardcore today.
Hardcore feet.
Triple X feet.
I thought Baylor got that flag in way too damn easy. I'm like, there's no way that she can, in the center of this thing with her foot, put this flag in the middle and then down into a hole in this piece of wood. And I'm like, yeah, it is done.
I think I could do that challenge pretty easily, personally. Like, dude, don't you ever, like, pick up shit with your feet? I do a lot.
I don't often. I know people like you who do it all the time. Like, my grandma used to constantly pick up shit with her feet. Like, she just, I don't know why. It was... But she would probably be really good at it if she was, younger and still alive. But I personally, I don't know. I would be okay with it because I have coordination, but maybe not as much as my feet.
I can move my arms and legs.
I can move them. I can see where they're moving. Left arm up, left arm down.
Next time you have to do it blindfolded too.
I thought when he was about to say that you have to do it all with your feet, I thought he was about to say, yeah, we're all going to be blindfolded. And I was going to be like, that's still not going to be that hard, but... Then the feet made it. Blindfolded with your feet, done. Nobody can get done. It'd be hours, before that challenge was over.
I don't mind it when the things take an hour or more. I mean, I guess they probably do because they're stuck sitting out there.
Right, right. Especially if they're... Can you imagine, because the platform was above their waist where they were sitting... So the core muscles that you're using to keep those feet up in the air constantly over and over again, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I expected people to cramp. I'm surprised no one cramped because they don't get a lot of water out there and potassium, etc. So I expected cramps to happen. Isn't potassium things that help you with cramps?
I mean, sure. And hearts to die.
Hearts to die?
Yeah, well, potassium's huge in heart stuff.
Oh. I see.
If your potassium's off, you throw PVCs, PACs, lethal arrhythmias, it's bad. Usually high, but low would definitely cause cramping and probably palpitations. You probably feel it in your heart a lot.
Huh. So yeah, I'm not surprised. I am surprised that we didn't see any cramping or anything like that. I would have thought. I don't know.
So
you never see that actually. I'm surprised there's not constant leg cramps and shit.
I think Boston Rob. In the season that he won, after the final challenge where he had to run up the pyramid multiple times back and forth, putting in stairs, I remember this. He wins the immunity, knows basically he just won the game because he won his way into the final 3, and everybody loved him that season. He keeled over because he started cramping. And they had to give him water and stuff, but luckily it was after the challenge was done.
Right.
Because
he probably felt it coming on too. It was just
pushing fought through it so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a $1 million fight for that man, and he won it. But Baylor wins this challenge. I can't say easily, but I mean more. I don't think she dropped that many pieces compared to everybody else. So Reed says something along the lines afterwards about how he's so upset with himself because he feels that puzzle, that building puzzle, was custom made for him and he couldn't pull out the win.
Maybe he's a feet guy.
I was gonna say
he does a lot with his feet. I don't know.
Does he just do everything with his feet? He writes with his feet. He I don't know. Does other things with his feet? Who has a custom made puzzle that's building blocks and flags with your feet? I don't know. I thought that was a dumb comment. And then he went through Keith's bag right at that point. So I mean,
do you think that if Reed had not gone through Keith's bag, the vote would have been different?
No. Reed he scrambled and told Missy. He didn't tell his alliance people, right? So the vote really threw me off in this one. The vote, I had to watch the ending 3 different times, when everybody's revealing to kind of be why did they vote that way and why did this person vote that way?
Yeah,
I was really intrigued.
So it was a 3-way vote. I'll just go through it. So for Reed, we had Keith, Wes, and Alec all voted for Reed.
Right. So they're in his alliance.
I think that they were pissed because he went through.
Did they know?
Bag. Oh yeah, he knew. He knew.
How did?
Because don't you remember, Keith is sitting there on the ground.
Keith knew someone went through his
He's
bag.
spit the whole time, and he's pissed. He's like, someone's going through my bag. I thought it got back to him that it was Reed.
Oh, I didn't catch the fact that it got back to him. That I knew he knew somebody went through his bag, and they knew that I don't
know if they
had the
actually
idol.
showed, I just assumed it. I think that he knew, because why else would they vote for Reed?
Well, and that's what I couldn't figure out. It's like the three of them voted for Reed, and Alec wasn't even in the conversation anywhere. He just had a vote for Reed. Like, right. I don't know what he did this episode. Sat there actually being quiet, which is weird because he wasn't bossing Baylor around or anything like that. Like,
I think that guy even exists half the time.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, I'm like, who's that? Oh,
he's gonna fly under the radar for a while now.
He might. He might. I know our prediction last time was that they should break up Keith and Wes, and they kind of talked about that early on in the episode, and then they just forgot about it completely.
Well, they did, and then Keith and Wes, those guys, they have way more strategy than I ever imagined that they had. So when they pretty much assumed that they were done because the other alliance is so strong, that's when the whole hashtag blindside conversation comes, and Wes is like, just let me know, I just don't want to be hashtag blindsided. He's like, I'll go out with some dignity, like, no big deal, like, there's not much scrambling I can do. And then Keith's like, yeah, let me know as well, they're trying to play it off like, just be gentlemanly or womanly, let us know, we really don't care, we know our time's coming. And then he goes to the back and he's like, that way we can pass our idol back and forth if we know who they're voting for. And I was just like, damn, this guy's got some smarts up there.
Yeah.
Which is what really threw me off as well. He didn't even try to use the idol. Did they still think that they were?
I know. They thought that they were that safe. And they were. It's shocking how safe the idols have been, except for John Rucker.
And why would they have voted for Reed if they were...
They knew... Exactly. If they had known the majority was going to vote for Jeremy, they would have voted for Jeremy.
Or I guess maybe not, because what if he had an idol? Maybe they thought he had an idol over at the island?
I guess that's possible. Is that they thought it's possible that... So, okay.
They didn't explain the strategy at all in this one, so I'm so lost in what was going through their minds.
So let's assume that Keith and Wes and Alec don't know that John has the idol, and they thought that Jeremy maybe got it this time at Exile.
So then... I would have still voted for John. I would have voted for somebody on that alliance then.
Right,
still.
yeah, it still doesn't make sense they voted for Reed. The only reason why they voted for Reed, the only reason they would have voted for Reed, because last time they didn't vote for Reed. Who did they vote for last time?
No, Reed's in their alliance. Reed's he's one of the few people left in their alliance.
Yeah, they basically gunned for... Maybe they thought... It doesn't really make a lot of sense, honestly, when you look at it. The only other scenario is they thought that everyone was going to vote for Reed because they voted out Josh last time.
So they just wanted to go with the majority?
Right, but it's still, I don't know. If that's the case, then they're so out of touch with what everyone else is talking about that they're in trouble. You know what I mean?
No matter what, you can be mad at Reed all you want. I don't know why Reed went through Keith's bag. I still don't understand that whole thing. Like, maybe Reed is on that alliance, right? Yeah, because he was with Josh, and the couple went against. Yeah, so he has to be. They're mad at Reed for going through the bag. Why Reed went through the bag when that's their alliance is a little bit beyond me.
And it wasn't their alliance anymore. I mean, from that point on, because he went immediately to the other people and basically sold them up the river.
Right. So then they're gunning for somebody who was technically in their alliance. Like, he's still the only chance that they have. Reed, sure, you know that Keith has an idol, but you were with them. You can stay with them. Getting rid of somebody in your little group is like, no matter how much of an asshole they are, like, you lost...
Right.
You lost all footing that you had in this game. Granted, that didn't end up happening because amazingly the whole other alliance turns around and votes for Jeremy.
Except for Jeremy and Natalie. Like, Natalie and Jeremy both vote for Keith. Well, I mean, yeah, obviously Jeremy's going home. But Natalie, who's Natalie again? Who's Natalie? Oh, Natalie. Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Natalie's the girl you hate.
Yeah. So she's obviously out of the loop too. Like,
and then the interesting thing is, what if instead of voting for Keith, they had voted for Reed?
Exactly. If Jeremy and Natalie had voted, well, it'd have been a tie. It'd have been a tie then.
How messed up would that have been if all of a sudden there's a tie between, like, see, I don't understand like any of what happened in that tribal council.
What would have happened in the tie, though? It probably still would have been Jeremy that left, right?
I don't know.
Oh
yeah, the other alliance probably would have been like, hell yeah, we got a chance to get one of them out. Like, let's do it. Probably, but I don't know if they. Yeah, it would have still been Jeremy.
Because it would have been, because then Jeremy and Reed could not have voted, so it would have been 4v4. It would have been Keith, Wes, and Alex and Natalie versus Missy, Baylor, John, and Jacqueline.
Who would have
I feel
switched?
like Keith, Wes, Alec, and Natalie would have folded in and voted for Jeremy. One of those guys, at least one of them would have.
I mean, that makes sense. Who did Reed vote for?
Reed voted for Jeremy.
Oh, he did vote for Jeremy from the beginning.
Yeah.
So was he in? Did he join with them and become an?
Basically, yeah.
Did they
After he
like? Was that
sold
like a discussed
Keith out.
thing?
Not really. He just basically sold Keith out, and they just kind of included him in the rest of their conversations, is what it seemed like.
That's interesting because you would think he's selling Keith out to try to get Keith out of there, and somehow he still ends up voting Jeremy with the rest of the group.
Right. I think that was his goal. Why they voted for Jeremy is still beyond me, because they should have got rid of Reed and his idol right then. They must have thought.
You mean Keith? Reed doesn't have an idol.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, Keith. They should have got rid of Keith. I still go back to what we said last week. I think they should have got rid of Keith. I mean, I like Keith. I don't want him to get rid of Keith either way, but
Strategy-wise,
made the most sense.
Especially if he's not going to play a damn idol ever.
I wonder if they thought he was going to play the idol, and so they thought, let's not try to split the votes. Let's assume he's playing his idol, and let's go ahead and vote out Jeremy. His idol will be gone. We can get him next time. But they didn't play the idol? I mean, I'm wondering if that's what they thought was going to happen, then it didn't.
Maybe they'll explain it more in the next episode, because the whole ending threw me for so much of a loop that I was just like, I don't know what I just watched anymore.
Yeah, it was a really good episode, and then the vote made no sense.
Yeah, which is actually, I kind of like when the vote makes absolutely no sense, because it makes me just kind of be like, now I must watch more. Whereas when everything goes like cookie cutter, just like blah, blah, blah down the line, I get really bored with the show. So now I'm actually interested to see what's going to happen tomorrow. And
I wonder what they didn't show us, because I feel like
a lot, I'm sure.
All of the stuff that made all this make sense was cut. Basically.
Yeah, I mean, has their editing crew gotten lax, or was there...
I think it's on purpose. I think it's like, because like you said, you want to watch now, right?
I do, but I like to watch a lot of this stuff because I want to watch because I want them to explain the strategy. I don't want to watch because I care about what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow's a whole new episode, whatever. I want to watch because I want to hear them say, this is why we did what we just did. Because sometimes they do go back and talk, well, Natalie, I know that you're confused, but this is why we, did this. Maybe they'll do that, and maybe that's why they didn't do it. If they don't, and it's just there's no strategy ever discussed, and we have no idea what's going through their mind, I don't know.
Right, yeah, I agree. I wonder if people would. I was just thinking about Utopia and the pay-per-view type stuff. I wonder, because it's also popular with Big Brother. I wonder if Survivor could do something. It's not live, but it's pay-per-view,
like all the outtakes, or not outtakes, but
to some degree the outtakes. The stuff that almost made it, didn't make it. An extended view of this week's episode for $9.99. Maybe not that much. $2.99.
Yeah, I mean, or if they, like you said, it's not a live feed, obviously, but if they just basically had cameras, or at all times you could watch video feed of what they were being taped throughout the whole time. I guess that would probably take so much editing, though, for them to cut down all that stuff. But yeah, just to give you more, like, instead of an episode being an hour, this episode is like a 3-hour-long episode for that extra money.
I would pay just for the whole tribal, because the tribal apparently runs 4 or 5 hours.
That would be entertaining. Do you think that they don't do that because there's so much... Maybe it makes you feel like the show is too scripted if you realize how much is actually like ripped out of people for the little cuts that they do?
That's possible, too. That is possible. Because they do basically take a bunch of boring shit and make something really entertaining with it.
Right.
So yeah, you're probably right. It's probably for the best that most people don't see how boring the show really is. And how
I mean, they said that in a lot of those AMAs that I've read, they said that there's like a challenge takes so many hours because there's so much, like, they got to get the camera crew set up, get pictures of them coming in, then get pictures of them leaving, and then they have to like get the camera crews out of there so that they're not in the shots. Like, they said it's just like crazy.
like a lot of the AMAs I've read too, asks the contestants what's the majority of stuff that gets cut out, and it says most of it's sitting around camp life talking about sex and food. Basically, that's the two things. They just sit around, wanting these two things in their life that they don't have.
It sounds like they should have been on Utopia
right?
whole time.
Right. Yeah, could have some bees,
some bees that don't exist, but they'll be sex.
Yeah, right. Teach you about the birds and the bees.
And food, as long as you don't mind dirty hands preparing it. I mean, then right. you're good to go. It's beautiful. Utopia.
One thing I don't understand about this season too is they used to always bring food back from the challenges. Did we talk about this before?
We talked about it, yeah, last time on whether they can bring the stuff back.
Yeah,
which
I keep wondering because like
the yacht,
this time
they didn't have anything.
Yeah. Okay. No. Yeah, it was last time. That's right. Because Josh was still there and Reed wasn't with them, and I wondered why they didn't. Okay. Yeah. All right. We did talk about it then. Never mind.
But it keeps coming up because it's still confusing. I'd love to. That's what I would pay. I wouldn't pay for it probably. But I want a rule list. Like this is the rule book. I said that last time too. Put up the rule book so I know exactly what's going on this season. Like if you steal anything from somebody else, you will be kicked off the island. Apparently, that is not a rule. Like,
think back to Rupert's first season. He stole all their shit right at the start out of their boat. Remember that? Like he stole like all their flip flops.
Weren't they supposed to though?
No.
Wait. Maybe I'll have to go watch this season again.
That was the pirate season, which I mean you would think they're supposed to steal because it was pirate season, but there was 3 tribes and they had to go through a little town. So they start a boat. They have to pull a bunch of shit off the boat, and they can whatever they pull off and throw on their raft, they can take with them.
Okay. I used to. By the way, I love when they start things like that, and I wish they did more.
Yeah, I don't know why they've stopped kind of doing that. Now we just got Jeff on a fucking helicopter.
Yeah.
And then they went through a little village, and they were able to barter in the village and then go to the island. And when they were bartering in the village, Rupert went, like, one tribe had pulled their raft ashore and left it sitting there. And they were in the village. He just took all their shit out of the raft.
Maybe I didn't see this season.
That was Rupert's first season. That's one of the best. If you have not seen that season, I think it's season 11.
It doesn't sound familiar at all, but I'm going to have to look now because that's... I'm trying to
That's the only season Rupert was any good in. He's like fishing every day. He's coming back with tunas bigger than him.
See, I must have seen it then. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that again, though. But and I guess too about stealing. Yeah, that was allowed. Russell Hentz stole Jason's socks. He burned them the first day. Yeah, I guess it's I mean, at least that made for good TV, though. Whereas, I don't know. I don't know why Reed was so dumb to take that. Why didn't he just look at it and be like, I know the information I need to know?
He wanted to be able to prove it. That's why, because he pulled it out and showed the other alliance right away. Here it is.
But
I don't think he would have just. To me, it almost. I wanted someone to be like, he's got an idol. Like, not Jeremy's got an idol. Reed's got an idol.
You know what? He used the guys that he had accidentally picked up what he thought was Julie's bag and realized it was Keith's bag when he started going through it. So 2 things with that. Are you allowed to just like go through like the other survivor, like if they leave and leave their bag, or just, is it fair game now?
I guess so. I think it is, man. He was looking for more trail mix.
That could have been a good excuse. So I want some 2-week-old trail mix because I'm sure there's no bugs in it right now. But when Julie left, didn't they notice there was something wrong? Because they said Julie's sitting there by herself with her bag.
Yeah.
So her bag's not even there.
Right. No. Yeah. He was full of it, basically.
And nobody.
I think he knew he was going through Reed. I bet he was going through everyone.
Oh no, he knew he was going through Keith's bag. He told other people when he told them, basically, I didn't just do this on purpose. This was the reason I found this. I'm not an asshole. But no, he straight up admitted that he just went through other people's. He went through that shit to find it. But how did nobody?
I feel like Reed. Since Josh got voted last time, Reed thought he was done for, and he was just doing whatever he could to stay in the game. And he was hoping he would find something in some bag that would change the game. And he did.
And he did?
Hey, I don't know. He didn't.
He almost got himself voted out by his own alliance.
I don't know if Jeremy got voted out as a result of all of this. I don't know why the hell Jeremy got voted out. So we don't know.
Because they still wouldn't have had enough votes had Reed voted for... Wait. Who else would they have voted for?
Right, the only person he could have voted for was Keith, and they still would have had enough because it would have been 3 for Reed, 3 for Keith, and 4 for Jeremy.
What is the deal with Reed?
They don't need Reed at all, unless they thought if they thought, I mean, I guess they could have thought that Reed, Keith, Wes, Alec, when all of them were all like on the same page, and then they would have to worry.
What do you think is Reed's game now? Do you think he's going to try to sneak in with that other alliance, or do you think that was a one-time thing? Like I didn't think he was part of that alliance now, or like even on voting terms. I thought that was coincidence, but I could be wrong. Maybe I'm looking at this from the perspective of he snuck his way into the bigger alliance. He might not be at the top 1 or 2, but he's going to be not.
I think he's ahead of Natalie.
You think so?
Well, Natalie didn't get the 411 on who they were voting for.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he might have gained himself. So he essentially got himself above Alec, Keith, Wes into the bigger alliance, even ahead of Natalie, and now Jeremy gone.
So. I think so.
How he pulled that off, that's really what he did. That is brilliant play. And
what they need to do is properly play an idol to break up John and Jacqueline. If they don't do this, I'm going to be so disappointed in this game.
Yeah,
like that's just what needs to happen.
If they don't break up John and Jacqueline, I want the final 2 to be John and Jacqueline.
Just them.
Just them. Because I want to see like what people do and how they decide to vote on a married couple.
Another one of those that doesn't. Like I hate this season where you get to the tribal and it's like, well, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah,
this is bullshit. Because it was one of those. I think it was Rob and Amber had got to a final 2 together, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but they did that.
And Amber won.
They did that. That was the season they got together. So Boston Rob proposed to her on that like show where they revealed the winner. So I mean, when they voted, they knew that they were like a little couple thing on the island, but they'd only been a couple thing on the island for 39 days, and so I don't know if that was as big of a deal, but I don't know. I hope the ending is just entertaining. I hate it when there's like I hate it when the person who rides the coattails wins the game just because everybody's like they hate the mastermind, so they're like, we'll pick you. Because
that doesn't happen a lot, it doesn't seem like.
It happened early on a few times. Yeah. One of the chicks who won twice, it happened to both times. Who? I don't remember who she was, though, but she won twice. And basically, she rode coattails in both times. Young, like, Mexican or Latina girl? I guess not young.
Yeah, I don't remember her.
Survivor winners must find them. I'm sure there's a Wikipedia page of Survivor winners.
I'm trying to remember a woman that's won that rode the coattails in to win. I can't think of anyone. Like all of them's been really strong contestants that are coming to mind, like Stephanie.
Oh no, that's
Amber.
Oh, why don't they have pictures of these people? They have a whole list of winners, but not with pictures. Just give me pictures. Like, make it easy. I want point and click. This one.
Yeah, I know what they look like.
I don't know what their names are. I don't watch Survivor for the names. Well, this one sort of got pictures. Is it her? Sandra.
Have you ever thought about watching Survivor like Australia or any of those other, you know what I mean? Like, not.
No, I didn't know they had those.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's like so many different Survivors.
Are
like
you
Survivor.
Serious?
Yeah.
I know that they have a bunch of different amazing races. I saw that, but I didn't see that they had a bunch of different survivors. I'd be entertained.
See, I've tried to find them, like to download them, because I can't find them to watch them. And let's see, I'm trying to find them. I'm sick, so I keep having to call.
I'm telling you, if you can't find those, your next best thing, Redneck Island. I'm addicted to that show, man. It is so good. Wait. Survivor Australia. Just kidding.
There's a France version called Koh-Lanta.
No, the only problem with the French version is going to be that it's going to be in French, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like an Australian one, they're still going to be speaking English.
There's a Belgium/Netherlands version.
That one would be okay.
Denmark version, an Israeli version, a Latvia. There we go. Norway, Philippines, Sweden. I think that's it. There was one where someone died. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Like in the show?
Mm-hmm. They canceled the season because someone died on the island.
Oh, that would be.
That was like a last year or something.
That would be scary.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I could skim this really quickly and see it.
Do you think somebody gets money? Like if you go on a show with the prize being $1 million at the end, somebody dies and they cancel your season like halfway through the season, what kind of refund do you think the contestants get?
Yeah. That's a good question. Okay, yeah, here it is. It's Survivor France. Due to an accidental death during the first day of shooting season 13, those in charge of producing the show decided to cancel the 2013 season following a fierce discussion of these events in the media regarding the medical conditions. The show's doctor took his own life. Holy fuck!
Killed himself?
Yeah, so 2 people died, basically. This didn't stop the show entirely, coming back in 2014 with the 4th All-Star season. So it's coming back.
So wait. First day of shooting, somebody gets killed, and then the doctor kills himself for that? Did he just make a gross medical error? Is that like...
I don't know. That's
person's like, Doc, I need a Band-Aid. He's like, here's some poison.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no. What have I done?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's been occasions in the American Survivor where someone like Mike could have died when he fell in the fire.
Fell in the fire, yeah, easily could have died.
And then the season, I can't remember the guy's name, but when they're doing the puzzle challenge thing, and he doesn't know his name anymore. He's passed out, falling into the thing.
Powers.
Is that what his name was?
Yeah, something like that.
He comes back another season after that.
He does, and for who he was, he did not do well.
Yeah. Yeah,
I feel
like he was on the verge of like death at that point too. I think there's been occasions where people were pretty close to just being done with.
Yeah, it happens. It's a game of survival. It is called survival.
No one has ever fallen out of one of these trees or anything like that and died, or even like some of the challenges, man. When you're on these, like, I'm surprised no one's broken their necks, like falling off these boards and shit.
I mean, the game is called Survivor. The guy in France did not win. So
he's not a survivor.
He is not a survivor. I know that's mean. I'm sorry to the family.
Your winners died. You're all survivors.
Everybody gets $1 million except that one guy. And the doctor. So I'm kind of excited to see what's going to happen next week.
Yep.
Tomorrow, tonight. Wait, whatever this thing airs, it's going to be soon, because we do the show shortly before the next airing, so that you guys are all refreshed and caught up. We don't want to be like everybody else who does it the second after it's done. This is our shtick. We got the pre-show.
Regardless of what you think, we're better.
Exactly. I've always known that, but I mean. All right. Anything else to say about Survivor?
No, I'm excited though.
All right, guys. Till next week.
Bye.
See ya.